Hey, welcome back to Everything Money. We're glad you joined us today. As always, I'm here with Seth, and Paul is not here today, Mo. We have calmer episodes without
Calmer
Paul.
waters.
You probably won't be
Insulted,
degraded here on the show. Today, we're talking about trading. You know, we get some, Mo, people watch our videos and they say, I'm really confused because you guys sound like a value investing channel. Then at the end of the show, you talk to this guy named Mo about trading. Folks, it's Everything Money. We hope to expand on this. We want our Patreon and we want our website to be your go-to place moving forward for everything money in terms of real estate investments, trading, momentum, all of this. Today, we're talking about the idea of trading, day trading, swing trading, long-term trading, different styles that Mo teaches you. He's been slaying it in our Patreon. If you're in our Bid and Ask Nation, that middle Patreon tier, 600 members, Mo, you guys, they get on teams, they get together, they talk with each other about these trades. But today, Mo, live in person, that handsome scoundrel, that sly fox that is the Egyptian Mo, is going to show you the differences and you're going to show me, Mo, because I'm somewhat confused about the difference between what is day trading, what is swing trading, and what is long-term trades. And we're going to talk about a couple specific stocks, including Cardinal Health, which I'm in, and I'm pooping my pants, Mo, because I'm losing a little bit of money on this. So I've made some wins. There are going to be some losses, and Mo will describe all of them. So I welcome you in the Egyptian dreamboat that is Mo, and you're looking very frothy in that tight shirt today.
Thank you. I like this shirt.
Tell me about different styles of trading, my dear friend.
So the reason I wanted to make a video like this is because everybody is on a different schedule. Some people can sit at a computer for 8 hours a day. Some people can only get there maybe an hour a day. And some people can only get there 2 minutes a day. We have given you a way to be able to trade in any environment. If you can sit there all day and you want to day trade, that's what I'm going to show you next. Swing trading, if you can only get to your computer an hour or two, we got that for you. And of course, long-term trading, that one you just buy and sit and wait and wait and wait and exit every so often, enter every so often. So let's start with day trading.
Please do.
This is a 15-minute chart. So every one of these candles that you see is a 15-minute period. So if we go over and look at, say, this chart, each one of these candles is 1 day. That chart that I'm going to pull up next, the 15, it is opening up this candle. So you're basically seeing every 15 minutes of these daily candles. Now, what do we do over here? It's very simple. All we're going to do is we're looking at our stochastic, our volume, and engulfing candlesticks.
Oh, they're all three here. Okay.
All three are here. So the first thing you're going to look at is you're going to see where your trend is going. Now, the sweet spot on a daily chart and a long-term chart is between 32 and 80%. Now, over here, it's going to be, if you're going long on something, you need to be above 80%, between 80 and 100. And as long as that red line, that stochastic line, is staying above that 100 or that 80%, you are good to stay in that stock when you're coupled with engulfing candlesticks. Now, let me show you. So right now, we have Cardinal Health. Your stochastic is above 80%. That's great. And it's also making really good engulfing candlesticks moving up. This is actually a very perfect day trade. And it just so happens that we're recording this video at a perfect time. So that's as easy as it is, guys. I know this sounds extremely simple, but if you go into the day trading Discord chat in the Bid and Ask Nation, this is what people are doing. They're finding companies that have an 80% stochastic with engulfing candlesticks, and they're making money. Now you're going to ask, how do you know when to exit? It's very simple. The second all you're going to do is when this red line drops below 80%, you exit the position. Put the profits in your pocket, move on, go find the next stock.
How risky is this? I mean, can this crash down well below 80% and I lose a ton of money in a quick amount of time?
So it can, but what we do is I tell everybody that they put stops in place. So have a trailing stop in there. So let's say you buy a stock at $10. It starts and you put a 5% trailing stop. Every time that stock price moves up, and when it pulls back 5% at any point, it's going to exit the position for you. That's how we mitigate risk. These stocks can definitely pull back more than that over during the day trade. But I always tell you, put stops in place so you reduce risk. As soon as it drops below that 80%, it'll often sell.
So when I buy the stock, I'm putting a stop loss?
You're putting a stop loss order in on that position. And that's how you're going to prevent yourself from losing tons of money, which I have done before. And that's why I use stop losses now.
So what kind of time commitment are the people in the Bid and Ask Nation, day traders, what are they putting in? What are they doing?
So a lot of the day traders, they either have desk jobs where they have flexibility, or they do this for a living. They're sitting there. I mean, we have one patron, Gianni. He sits there literally all day and trades from 9:30 in the morning to 4 p.m. Of course, he's on different time zone schedule, but during market hours, he's trading all day, every day. We have tons of people who are doing that. We have a lot of people that are not trading real money because they want to get introduced into this. So what they're doing is just paper trading for a couple months at a time. So there's many ways that you can get involved in this. And if you don't have the time right now to spend 8 hours a day, 3 hours a day, whatever, doing this, I'm teaching you a skill that you can use for the rest of your life. So master it now, so when you do have that time in the future, then you'll be able to do it instead of having to start learning it at that point.
What about swing trading? What does this mean?
So swing trading, swing, is basically what I define as a 1 to 5 day trade. Now, that is a general term. Of course, you can have a swing trade that goes 10 days or something, 2 weeks, whatever. But generally, you're going to be in the stock for 1 to 5 days. And the reason that you're going to be in that stock 1 to 5 days, we're going to talk about the stochastic in a second, talk about volume, but I want to talk about the moving averages, resistance, and support lines first. The reason that you're swinging is because you're trying to trade between two of these lines. It could be your 100-day moving average, your 200-day moving average. If you go and watch any of the previous videos, I explain to you what those moving averages are, what those resistance points are. But all you're trying to do is kind of grab, let's see here, let me find a spot, like right here, for example. Here, this yellow line right here is your 50-day moving average. This green line is your 100-day moving average. You see that you had a little bit of movement from the green line to the yellow line. That right there is a quick swing trade. You're just trying to go in, grab a percentage of profit, and move out. So you're in it for 1 to 5 days. That's the idea behind swing trading. It's not a long-term trade where you're sitting in it for multiple weeks at a time.
Yeah, so maybe can you show me another example?
Sure. So this is Microsoft. We have really great volume coming to the stock, okay? So that's the first thing we're going to look at. Second thing we're going to look at is our stochastic. We're in the sweet spot. Of course, our red line crossed over our yellow, and we've moved into the sweet spot very nicely. Now what we're going to do is start looking for these engulfing candlesticks, where we buy, and more importantly, where we're going to exit this position. So here it's sitting at the yellow line and the purple line. That's your 50-day and 25-day moving average, respectively. But this green line here was a resistance line at one point. Now, what resistance is, it's negative pressure pushing down on the stock. Of course, Microsoft, it was going towards all-time highs. So our goal in this trade was to be able to move from down here at these moving averages up to this resistance point. And what do we do that with? Engulfing candlesticks. We had an engulfment here, we had an engulfment here, and we just waited until it got up to, see, Seth, where it just kind of started going sideways on us for a while?
Yes.
Once it gets there, it gets to that resistance point, that's when we're going to exit our position, if that makes sense to you.
Okay. So what is the time frame we're looking at here again?
So right here, we can see this was probably about 10 days, probably one through about 10 days where we started to get a little bit of selling volume coming in, and that's when we realized that we were hitting our resistance point. Let's exit that position. But you can see they had a great run from $245 to almost $260 a share. So that was a really comfortable trade where you didn't have a lot of moving averages to knock you down. And it was a really good run of good volume and engulfing candlesticks.
So how do these swing trades different from a long-term trade, which I've been in a couple that you've sort of helped me with?
Great question. So when we look at long-term trades, these are ones that we can buy and we can, or sell, and stay in for quite some time. And the first thing we're always going to look at is the trend. The trend is our friend. The trend defines the entire trade. We have to be in the sweet spot between 32 and 80%. That is the area where we are going to get the highest probability of making the most money and reducing the risk the most. Now, when you look at these stocks that are going through the sweet spot, when do you add to them? It's very simple. Same as on the other chart. You're adding when you're getting good engulfing candlesticks. Engulfing candlesticks mean that there's volume coming into the stock, there's confidence coming into the stock. When do you exit the position? As soon as this red line rolls down underneath the yellow line and starts going in the negative direction on the sweet spot, that's when you exit your position. So long-term trading, to me, is definitely the easiest to see when to enter and exit.
So, Tim, if you go over my computer, folks, if you're watching at home, the question we get a lot is, what are these stochastics, 32 and 80%? This is just an article about what it is, but look at this crazy formula. The percent K versus a percent D. In essence, when it's all said and done, Tim, these numbers are kind of confusing. And so I've just tried to, Mo, I've just tried to follow these numbers that you've come up with over the past 20 years and stick with that.
So, I mean, you can go and you can start reading about percent K, percent D. If that fits your fancy, have at it. But for me, I have always tried to make this as simple as possible. You see on a day trading chart, over 80% you're buying with engulfing candlesticks. When you're on the long-term chart, when you're on the daily chart, coming through the sweet spot, that's when you're going to be purchasing with engulfing candlesticks. I try to make this as simple as possible. I've always gone by the saying, pretty much in everything I do in life, keep it simple, stupid. The more simple, the better. That's what I go by for everything that I do. The more simple, why make things more complex than they need to be? And I think that's a big downfall with a lot of traders out there.
Well, I think, too, Mo, it's funny is in this day and age with so much information sharing, the schemers of the world make it seem like making money is so simple. You can be rich in minutes. You can buy Bitcoin. It'll just always go up. And so there's a caveat that when it sounds too simple, it's like, wait a minute, how can this be so simple? So like we definitely need to find a balance. So what are you doing with people in the Bid and Ask Nation? What is that and what are you doing with them?
So in the Bid and Ask Nation, the Discord chat is the place to be. It is broken down into any kind of trades you want. If you want to be with the day traders all day, there's a chat where it's constant day trading. Swing trading, constant swing trading, and everybody is teaching each other. And if this seems overwhelming to you, which it probably is, you don't need to be overwhelmed because we have over almost 650 people in the chat, ranging from people who have never seen a candlestick, never heard the word stochastic, to people that have been there for over 7 months now that are truly experts in doing this. They're as good, if not better than me. So don't feel overwhelmed. I know it can be overwhelming, but there is a place for you in the Bid and Ask Nation. It's broken down very, very well and simple for you. All
right, Mo, I am in Cardinal Health. You helped me get in this a couple weeks ago. I'm still in. I'm a little worried, but I trust you. I love you. So let's talk about Cardinal Health. This was a sort of a Patreon exclusive a couple weeks ago, and you said it's sort of turned on us, and you have multiple options now moving forward.
So the good thing about these charts is that you have opportunities to buy stocks. At one point when you have a downtrend, say on your long-term chart, your daily chart may be an opportunity for you to go long on the stock. That's with Cardinal Health right now. Unfortunately, our trend has turned on us towards the down direction. Now, I personally think that this has to do a lot with the very minimal volume that's been coming into the stock. But right now, because our trend is moving down through the sweet spot, this is a downtrend. Now, let me show you on a daily chart, Cardinal Health. We are coming up through the sweet spot. So right now, I think, let me give you a little bit more here. I think that Cardinal Health is doing just fine, coming through the sweet spot. It's been getting decent volume the last couple days. We're sitting right atop that 25-day moving average. So I do think that there's room to run to the top side on Cardinal Health. Now it's funny, it sounds counterintuitive. You're going long on one side, you're going short on the other. But this is the power of charts, and this is why swing trading, you're only going to be in this thing for a couple of days, trying to grab a small percentage of it moving up. But the overall trend is moving down, that's for sure.
Yes, I'm currently down 3 some odd percent on Cardinal Health. What do you think I should do moving forward with these stochastics?
I think I'm also down 3% on this, and I think that this is a good opportunity to swing trade this thing. We're coming up very nicely through the sweet spot. We're holding a support line very, very strongly right now at $55.50 or whatever it's at. What's it at now? $58. So it actually hit its support line of $55.50 and it's bounced up to $58. So I do think that there's a good opportunity here. But even with that, 3% is a very small loss. Yeah. We're not losing 30% on or something like this. Well, you can throw in a 5% trailing stop. You can throw in a 2% trailing stop. Whatever you want to do, whatever you feel comfortable with your risk, you can do that. And that's the benefit of being in the Bid and Ask Nation. You're not going to be losing 40% on something outrageous because the stock's going to turn on you completely and go in the wrong direction.
I think the key with all of this, folks, as we've mentioned, hopefully in almost every single video, is we're looking for just minimal gains. Some of the greatest investors out there, if you can get like 16%, just a little bit above the market. My goal, Mo, is always like 2 to 3%. Yeah. Can absolutely transition your long-term
2 to 3% annualized over tons of trades.
Millions.
It's pretty great.
Millions of dollars, yeah. So patience is the key. Patience is the key. And if you follow along with us, we will try and guide you toward that discipline and patience. And so when you are losing, you're not freaking out. And when you're winning, you know when to take your wins and go home with them. So,
and another great thing about the chat is you have 600 other people that are in it with you that can calm your nerves.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay.
Mo will coddle you like a baby and feed you. Okay, that's our take. Join the Patreon below if this interests you. If you feel alone out there, like I always say I was for a long time, I keep talking to patrons, Mo, and they say the same thing. No one ever told me. My folks never taught me. I never learned it in school. I feel very alone. Yet now, once you're adults, we have to worry about this on a daily basis.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're here for you, and so is our Patreon. So go ahead and join, and I'm sure you'll love it. So that's our take. Fondle the thumbs up on the way out. Love you guys.